Okay, see what I had to do up here? I had to disconnect this, had to pull this plywood off, had to pull this other plywood off that was notched around there, take this insulation out so that I can see back in there. And I'm going to have to shine my flashlight up there so that you can see what's going on, okay? Okay, actually, I've got my construction light. I'm going to set my construction light up. I've got a long extension cord, and I'll put it in there and do a little bit of explaining for you so you can see what I'm up against. The things I do for you to show you stuff. My word. I got my my light up there. Okay, now I'm above the bathroom. Now see up there, you see that piece of wood going across with the metal brackets going up like that? That's part of a TJI floor joist. You see that? It goes all the way up and it goes across, and here's the ceiling of the bathroom. They furred it down with 2x4s going across there, so I know those long TJIs are going from left to right all the way across. They're going all the way across, and my guess is those extend all the way over through the bedroom ceilings. I'm thinking they're exactly like this. And see, now if you can picture the ceiling of the bedroom right where that 2x4 is, from there up, so I should be able to sneak my wire up in there and fish it in between, across to the smoke alarm. Do you see? Now, if those were wood TGIs, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I thought they were metal, and sure enough, these are metal. And the ones where I showed you in that big room, those were wood. I'm not quite sure why they didn't do metal too, but I'm making the educated guess that those go through the bedroom ceilings, and then they change directions in that wide open room, which is that way. Okay, and so what does that tell me? That tells me I should be able to remove that that smoke alarm junction box and be able to fish my wire up through there. So that's what I'm going to try. But before I do that, of course, you know, I got to put all this stuff back together, and I don't really want to leave this stuff open, because I saw there's a couple mouse traps we had set, and they went off with nothing in them. I don't want to leave this overnight with a possibility of any mice in this area or something like that getting up into here and going through the ceiling and stuff, and then have me barricade this up a couple days from now. No, nothing doing. So see, there was insulation in the wall. This happens to be a double wall. You see here's a 2x6 wall, and then they furred it, and then they built the interior wall right there, because this wall here is a concrete wall that goes all the way down, and then they furred that out in the bathroom to get their plumbing pipes. See, here's some you can't really see them. There's a plumbing pipe here that goes down, and they went through that furred out wall and stuff. And so I've got to be strategic about this. I got to put all this stuff back together like I found it. Okay, before I go into the bedroom. That's going to take me a while in itself, but lucky enough, see, I took this apart from here over before to fish out where the exhaust fan was before, and I cleaned that all out. A rat's nest was up in there, and that was all broken apart, and the flapper was chewed, and I fixed the flapper, and I put that in there and rerouted the duct. Came up over here, attached that. This is old rat droppings from years ago. Okay, and they just climbed through this whole duct all the way outside, and they came in from outside. Can you believe it? They just crawled up through the stucco wall and used it as a ladder, and they came up through that, and they made a nest down in there, and all that. And hey, after we moved in here, I fixed it. I guess the people whose house it was, they didn't really use this bathroom. It could have been sitting like that for a couple years, for all I know. And of course, the home inspector, he never caught it. Of course, he never did. Of course, he never. Had he have pulled the exhaust fan cover off, he would have seen all the stuff in there. But he didn't even do that. You know, paying for a home inspection before we purchased the house, all to find out that the home inspector really didn't do his job properly. Okay, so anyways, I've got to put the insulation back, and they had insulation on this wall and this wall, so I got 2 different layers of insulation down in here. And I also I'm glad I'm down here, because I saw that the mouse traps were popped. There was another one way back over there that's been snapped with nothing in it. There's one right there that still is baited, and I'm noticing there's some insulation in different bays, ceiling bays, that are missing, that I'm gonna have to you know, again, the home inspector, he should have caught that years ago, but he didn't tell us about it or anything. I had to come down here and find it myself. I found wood shavings all down here. Of course, he didn't find it. Of course, the termite inspector, he didn't say anything about the wood shavings here and underneath the house. I mean, I was kind of pissed off about it, but I made videos of that whole thing, and they're on my channel somewhere. But in any case, I lifted this little piece of insulation up right in here, and I saw all kinds of little wood shavings and stuff down here, and I'm thinking there might be a little nest up there, and so I'm gonna have to check that out too. And as I put all this stuff back together, and it had a little strap, a metal strap that came up at an angle. I had to take all those screws out, and hey, it was quite the process to get this. And I've got to reattach this. I've got to get some duct tape and put that up there. I have to readjust all that before I get done. And I'll show you this stuff when I get done. I reattached this with screws, and this little section right here was this piece, and that was nails. So I had to take my cat's paw and my hammer, and took those nails out. I'm not sure if I'll put that back up with the same nails or some screws or something. I'm gonna have to tack that up in here too, and get this all buttoned back up. Okay, well, I'm glad I'm checking this out. Had I not been able to take this wall out, I would have still taken that plastic box out, just to double check it, and you could do it that way too, and then look up there and see if you got this type of joist with the metal straps going up like that, because that means there's a bottom 2x4 and there's a top 2x4, and then this gusset thing goes both directions every so often, every couple feet. You can see it there too. Bing bang boom, and that works too. That's kind of a slick way to do it, because then it gives it an open area in case you want to run air conditioning ducts across there, water lines through there, electrical lines through there. You don't have to worry about poking holes through the TJIs. I mean, you can do it that way too, but that makes it nice and easy. They're probably lighter too, and they work just as well. So if you're getting ready to build a house or something, you might want to look into a TJI kind of like that to see what sort of options you have. But in any case, had I not been able to take this wall apart to verify that, I would have taken that box out knowing probably that it was wood TJIs. I would have been very surprised. But I just wanted to double check because it's going to be a pain in the rear to get that plastic box out. I may have to use a Sawzall. There's a plastic bracket on there where the nails are and stuff, and I'll have to chop that out to slide that box out of there. But one way or another, I'll get it. Okay, but first things first, I gotta put this back together again. Humpty Dumpty. Okay, well that's what it's supposed to look like when you get done. I just took out and put back in just like I found it. And there's a notch around the pipe, there's another notch around that one, there's a notch around that. I didn't take this plywood off, but see this here? Whoever installed the, well, somebody installed this first, and then somebody cut that and fished that through there. You can see how they pulled it, and it kind of caught the rubber on the side along here as they pulled it through there. And places like that, could mice actually crawl up that? No, they'd probably crawl up the side, or they'd get up on top of here, walk across, shimmy on down, and they could get inside your house that way. And so if I was really energetic, maybe another time I could take some wood, some plywood, some OSB plywood like this. I got some scraps, and I could notch it around there, put something around that one, around the bottom of that other duct. I didn't cut that, somebody else did. See how low it is right there, and around that, and around this pipe here. My word, they didn't even install that little piece of plywood there. So stuff like that, mice can get in there, make nests, get down inside your ceiling, do all kinds of havoc. And that's why I had some mouse traps up here. These two have already gone off. That one didn't go off. There's another one over there. So I know there's rat or mice activity. Here's some stuff here, here's some stuff here. And remember, I thought there was a little nest up there. I pulled that insulation down, there was nothing there. But see, I saw all this stuff down here, and they might have been just grabbing this insulation and getting ready to make a nest or something, because I saw all kinds of little sticks down here. And so how are they getting in this area? Well, then that's when you become a little inspector and start snooping around. Look on your exterior walls. You can crawl around, use your construction light. You got to get a construction light like this, and you can go through here and check things out. And worst case scenario, you set some traps. We caught a squirrel down in here one time. I'm like, how on earth is he getting in? He must be getting in from underneath the stucco, the outside edges of the stucco, down in the landscaped area, maybe crawling up underneath or something. I haven't really inspected too close, but that's something I should probably do. We haven't really heard anything lately, but I know they're around. And if you have any pipes like this, and if they're dusty, and if you see little marks on top of there, you know they've been walking along there. And if you get any little bits of insulation hanging down, like see where this pipe is, they probably pulled some down and grabbed some. Here's some down there. There's a fitting on the air conditioning pipe, and it's supposed to be wrapped all the way around there because that's a Y, and there's metal there, and you take that little thin insulation and they wrap it around there where I can see on the top of it, it's all missing. That's because somebody, some little critter has ripped all that stuff off, made a little nest somewhere, probably back in there or something like that. That's for another day. Okay, I've done my due diligence on figuring out my next steps for installing that ceiling fan, and I'll take you in there, show you what I'm going to do next. Oh, one more thing. You know, if you got a house and you have crawl areas underneath your house, wherever they are, you might want to go check them out. I did a inspection. I put it on my videos. I don't know exactly where it is. It might be home rehab, condo rehab, you know, something. And underneath the house, I did a little inspection. I did a little inspection in this area too. And you can go down there and you can kind of see what all is going on. See what you can do to make it better. If you got wood down here, see here's some bits of wood that they left from years ago. The inspector didn't even make them pull this stuff out. Here's a little piece of a TJI, a small one. And see all that kind of stuff. When you buy a house, a home inspector, you're supposed to pay a home inspector who's licensed, and you pay him and he checks out underneath your house, he checks out inside your house, on top of your house, around your house, underneath your house, and he's supposed to give you a full report of what he finds so that you know what kind of shape the house is in case you need to make a counter offer to somebody and say, hey, you know, we did a home inspection, we found this, and we found this, and we found this. Based on that, we're willing to still purchase the house, but for X amount of dollars less. And you do that, and you also get a termite inspection. Termite inspection is separate from a homeowner's inspection, and the homeowner inspector should have caught this stuff. He should have caught missing insulation. He should have caught all kinds of stuff that he didn't even have on his list. And a termite inspector, he should have caught this. Anything underneath your house that's wood cannot be there. I sold a house one time, and because they saw little bits of wood underneath the house, even though I had just built the house and it was only maybe less than 2 years old, a termite inspector went under there, and because he saw little things of wood, he says, oh, okay, well, in order for me to sign off, I have to spray underneath the entire house. Yeah, really? Well, that's what he, and so, you know, I think it cost me an extra $850 or so to have him spray, because I had a few 2x4s under that. I could have spent 2 hours and got the stuff out, and I should have done that before the inspector came. But in any case, you can, just because those inspectors are supposed to catch those things, sometimes they don't catch it all. And so for you to see what sort of shape your house is in, you can go underneath your house and look around. And I know there's insulation missing. Well, this insulation should be there, right? Why should I have to purchase insulation, get the insulation over here and put it down, put it up and all that kind of stuff? This should be there. Had the inspector caught that, the homeowner's inspector, they would have had to, the seller would have had to have somebody come out here and go through underneath the house. There's all kinds of places underneath the house where there's missing insulation, where there's missing insulation around the air conditioning register or air conditioning wise, and there was a couple air conditioner duct pieces underneath another area of the house that was hanging down on the ground, and there was wood shavings, and there were some bolts that were loose and stuff. All that stuff should have been already done before we purchased the house. So I'm telling you, just because you purchase your house, you don't think, I don't have to go underneath the house. You know, go underneath the house anyways and look and see for yourself. See if the brackets that are holding up your plumbing sewer line is tied up properly. Make sure your duct straps are attached properly and none of them have fallen off. Look at your plumbing pipes. I looked at some plumbing pipes, and some of the plumbing pipes had insulation wrap around them, and some of them didn't. And let's see. Yeah, see that black pipe, this first black pipe? There's a copper pipe under there. And this is foam insulation stuff, you see? That's copper pipe all the way around there, and they've done that on the lines under here, but on another portion of the house, they didn't do it. And so, you know, stuff like that. Then you can decide yourself, do I want to spend the money and time and effort to do that myself? Do I want to get somebody else out here, or do I want to just leave it? You be in charge of that. You can check all that out. So you know, I'm kind of glad I'm under here so I can make this video, so I can tell you a few things. Okay, now I've got everything cleaned up. It's time for me to get out of here, take a little break, and decide how I want to tackle that ceiling fan down there. Whew. Okay, I got that all cleaned up, swept up and stuff, and now, okay, so now I'm pretty sure that all those joists going across have the metal gussets up there, 16-inch on center, and the ones in the bathroom, I could tell were going this direction. Okay, so when they come over here, chances are they're going to go this direction. Okay, it doesn't really matter actually which direction they go, because I should be able to fish through those gussets and stuff. Okay, and so if you remember at the first how I was going to do it, I've got to take this box out now, and because it's a round box, I've got to be very careful about that, because there's a plastic framework on the side of that gets nailed in to the joist. I'm going to have to cut that side out without goobering up the ceiling, because what I'm trying to do is not have to patch any drywall at all. If I have to patch it, then I have to prime it and paint it and all that kind of stuff and texture certain areas. I'm trying not to have to do that. Okay, I've got the power off. I've got a red, white, and black wire up there coming out of each Romex. So when I run the new Romex on there, I'm just going to use the black wire, all the blacks together, all the whites together, and the two reds are still going to go together, and that pigtail is still going to stay up there for the smoke alarm. And then I'll be tapping the power off of there, running it over to a new box, and that's my next step. I have to unravel those wires, take the wire nuts off and all that kind of stuff, push the wires out of the way. I mean, I could kind of cut the box now, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to kind of get things situated, kind of push the wires out of my way first, okay? And that little bracket up there, the adapter for the smoke alarm, I'm just going to take that off. I'm going to reuse that when I install the smoke alarm again. Okay, so that is my next step. Now, if that was a box like a light fixture box, an electrical outlet box, on those, if you've seen me, I just use a hacksaw and cut the nails off, because usually those boxes have two nails on the sides and they go across here, nailed into the stud, and all I'm doing is cutting those two nails off and fishing the box out. Well, I can't really do that for this, but I can still kind of probe around up there with my gloves and stuff and see where that bracket's going to be, and chances are I'm not going to be able to cut it with this. I mean, maybe a little bit, but once I know where the bracket is, then I could get my Sawzall and put a metal cutting blade on there. Once I figure out where those wires go, the last thing you want to do is start just zipping around there, think, oh yeah, just get up there and get it done, get a big old long blade, start cutting, and then you cut one of those wires up there. I'll have to watch that and be careful and go slow. And I can always look at the wires, and if they start moving a little bit, that means I'll be hitting the edge of the Romex, making it wiggle, and then I'll have to stop and see what I have to do about moving the wire or coming in at a different angle or something like that. And maybe, just maybe, I might be able to save that box and still use that box up there instead of even getting cut in light fixture box for that. I might be able to use that and then drill some holes on the side, put some screws into it, and just screw it into the side of the floor joist. Okay, the floor joist is either going to be going on the right hand side of it, like that, or the left hand side of it, like that. And so that's where that bracket should be. And once I see that, I can see where that is, and then I can measure over 16, 16, 16, 16, like that, and then start doing some prying and probing and things, and finding out, making a determination where I want to put the pancake box. Remember, I'm going to be putting this pancake box up there. Step by step, I'll show you. You keep watching. You keep watching the videos, and it will start coming into view for you. And just know, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Would you look at that? I just happen to have a round box because I have some other boxes. You see, I just have these, and see, this is how a metal box or a plastic box is nailed to a stud. You see, it's got little nails there, and it nails in. So when it comes across, all you've got to do is cut the two nails off, and then you should be able to slide a box out. But because it's a round box, you see how a round box. Now I don't know if that round box is exactly the same or not, but see how this one is? See, it's got the little sides, so you would put that on a stud like that and nail it on both sides. So see, I could have a big old plastic thing like that all the way around that I'm going to have to cut off, and it may be two of them like that, and I might miss the nails altogether. You see what I mean? If I can cut that plastic off from there over and from there over, if that's how it is up there, then that box, I should be able to slide it straight down or push it up, get it out of the way, and then pull it back down or something after getting these out, after I get the box pushed out of there or something like that. You know, worst case scenario, I'm going to have to break the whole box apart. I don't really want to do that. I want to try to get it out. So that's what I'm up against. And so a little bit as I go, I think it's going to be like that, or it could have a tab on it. Let's see if I have a box that has a tab on the side. Yeah, see, like this. This is another kind of box. You just screw it on the stud. Well, that round thing, that round box could have a plastic thing like that on it that's screwed in. So you got different types of boxes, okay? And they don't all install exactly the same, but I'll get up there and figure it out. And see, one more thing. Of course, I got to get this box out first. Then I can verify exactly if those joists are exactly like the ones that go above the bathroom, and I'm pretty sure they are. Okay, I'm not going to start cutting a hole over here just yet. I've got to get this box out and check her out. Wow. Hey, I just used that little hacksaw, and I think I got it. I just used this, and I got the one side and did the wires, and voila. Look at that. Look at that. Would you believe it? The nails are still up there, and I didn't think I could do it with just this little, just with the hacksaw. But see, I cut it off from there to there. There was a bracket there, and there was a bracket over here, and I just had to cut it from there to there, and it came off, and the nails are still up there. It's almost like that other box I was showing you. Let me get it, and I'll show you real quick. It's pretty darn close. This was 24 years ago. See, that box was like that. See, with the ears, and here's that one, and this one over here. So when it was up there, I was lucky to chop that side off far enough and this side far enough to get it loose, and then I just barely shaved off the drywall up there, so I could shimmy that around the hole. And before I put that back up, I can nip this off to make it go back up there, because see, I think I'm gonna use this same box, and all I have to do is take one of the knockouts out in the back, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's get you up there. I'm gonna take you off the tripod. Okay, I'm gonna take you off and get you up there. Okay, no monkey business. No monkey business. You see, there's the. You can't really see it, but that's the side of it, and that's the metal. That's the metal gusset going up. And here's the last little bit of that box up there. And I can leave those little ears for that matter. Okay. Now, you see, I should be able to fish my wire from here over. Actually, I'll cut that hole open first. And I'll run a tape measure in here. See, this is the side right there where there's a joist that goes all the way across there. And I believe the next one is 16 inches. It could be 16 or 24, but I believe it's 16 inches because there's a floor above there. So it's all been engineered and designed. And so I can, let's see if I can't, lots of times I don't like shoving my tape measure up and stuff. I could take a wire, measure it, and run it up in there. But let's see if I can get my tape. And these wires are not hot. I checked them, and see, I can push them out of the way. But I'm glad I cut that right there with this little hacksaw, because as I was going, I could see that raising up. So if I would have taken something fast and just, I could have nicked the Romex wire. I could chop it off, and now I've got an issue, don't I? Now I've got to cut the wall open, and you're not supposed to put a junction box up in a ceiling. And I would have been a world of hurt. I could have done it on either side. This side was going up and down too, and I was just careful, moved it around, and I just used that just a little bit to get beyond that, and then it was over far enough so I could cut the rest of it off. You see? And let's just see what we got here. Yeah, there's insulation up there. But the good thing for me is because it was a round box, I should be able to get my hand up there a little bit further than if it was just a regular box, you know? Okay? So, oh, okay, yeah. 16 inches is right there. And that's 16-inch center. So, see, I can measure off of there and figure out from there, you know, off the wall is 18 inches and then 16 inches on center. So when I get over next to the bed, I could go 18 and then 16, 16, 16. You see what I mean? And that'll give me roughly the place where it is, and that's a flat 2x4, I believe. Not a, yeah, it's a 2x4, that truss, and so it's a flat 2x4 here, okay? So when I go over there, I've got to make sure I get right on the edge for my cut-in box. All right, and I can do some probing, and I'll be able to get it. I'll be able to get it. Okay? So one step at a time, man. I'm doing it. And I won't have to patch any drywall or anything like that. So because I got this out, see, I can nip off the edges. I can push the same one in. I can drill some holes in here. I can hold that up there where it goes, figure out where it is, because I know I've got 1.5 inches tall, and so I have to get the screw holes down low enough on this box. And so you know, once I get ready, I can push these wires out of the way, I can trim this box, I can lift it up there, put a couple marks, and then bring it down, drill a couple holes in there, put it up in there, and then I should be able to get 2 drywall screws up in there. And the metal gusset is right here, so I have to miss that and miss this other thing. And then that box will be holding up there with just 2 drywall screws. And that's it. And that'll be okay. That'll be okay because it's just a junction box. As long as I get it up there flush, if not just a hair higher than too low, let's say. Okay? And then it's just for the smoke alarm. And it will be for my junction box too. All right. I'm happy about that. You know, that's half the battle right there. All that work that I went into to make sure that I could do it the way I want to do. Because if you could see that if those were wood, every 16 inches, if those were wood TJIs all the way through there, I couldn't fish a wire through there, could I? But because it's those metal V things that go back and forth, I can sneak the wire through there. And actually, once I cut the hole here, I'll show you that in a minute, okay? I'm going to actually fish from here that way because my hole is only going to be small because the rest of the box is going to be flat on the 2x4. The flat 2x4 is just going to be sticking over far enough so I can get the wire through there onto that Romex. You remember? On the back side of this box, I'm going to just knock one of these out. And I'll show you that later. I've got a little plastic goodie in here. It came with all kinds of stuff in there. I'll show you that. So I only have to be that far, from there to there, that far off of the wood up there. The rest of this box is going to be screwed directly up to the wood. Do you see? And that's going to make it solid. These two are going to be on the wood. That one's going to be on the wood. That's for a ground screw. And so I may drill another hole in here with a drill bit so I can get another screw in there. I want that thing solid up there. It probably would be fine with just those 2 screws and that one. That should be fine, but we'll see. Okay. All right. Next step coming up.